The way I write is I sort of figure out, what's going to happen, and then I figure out, well, what's going to happen to Quavando? Okay, what's going to happen to him in this book? And it might take me a couple months to figure out what's going to happen to each character in the book. And then I just sit down and I try to think like Quavando. And once I start, I know what Quavando is going to do, or I know what Tommy is going to say. And one of the characters the most fun to write is Harvey. You just think, what's Harvey going to say? How's he going to be a jerk in this situation? Because the poor guy, a lot of kids think Harvey's the bad guy. He's not exactly the bad guy. He wants to be a good guy. He just doesn't know how. And you just know that Harvey's going to say something that he thinks is funny, and everybody else is going to think it's obnoxious. And so he's actually one of the most fun characters to write. Like, there's a whole chapter in the new book, and it's nothing but Harvey going, I was right, I was right, I was right, I was right, I was right. And, I personally wouldn't necessarily think to write that. But once I sit down and I'm like, how does Harvey respond to the situation? I just know what Harvey's going to do. And then I know what Tommy's going to do and what Quavando is going to do. And, and Sarah. Sarah is this character who, she started out as she was going to be this girl that Tommy was crazy about. But now she's her own character, and I know what her response is going to be. I know what she's going to say. And so that's why it was fun to let her be the star of the Fortune Wookiee book, because Sarah had a lot of her own stuff she had to say. And if Tommy had been the star of that book, she wouldn't have had a chance to say it. The characters, they just take over. I like Sarah. I've written a new Sarah chapter for a future book, and she's the one who sometimes has to take charge because she's actually Origami Yoda is very wise, of course, but sometimes you need a little girl power wisdom. Sometimes Sarah's the one who has to step in and say, "Okay, guys, here's how it's going to have to be." But Sarah's got her own problems too. Sarah, her best friend Rondella's getting interested in boys and clothes and different stuff from Sarah. And it's tough times for Sarah ahead because she's got to deal with maybe losing her best friend.